This line is tapped, so I must be brief. They got to you first, but they've underestimated how important you are. If they knew what I know, you would probably be dead.
What are you talking about? What is happening to me?
You are the one, Neo. You see, you may have spent the last few years looking for me, but I've spent my entire life looking for you. Now, do you still want to meet?
Yes.
Then go to the Adams Street Bridge.
Get in.
What the hell is this?
It's necessary, Neo. For our protection.
From what?
From you. Take off your shirt.
What?
Stop the car. Listen to me, Copper Top. We don't have time for 20 questions. Right now, there's only one rule. Our way or the highway.
Fine.
Please, Neo. You have to trust me.
Why?
Because you have been down there, Neo. You know that road. You know exactly where it ends. And I know that's not where you want to be. APOC lights. Lie back. Lift up your shirt.
What is that thing?
I think you're bugged. Try and relax. Come on. Come on. It's on the move. You're gonna lose it. No, I'm not. Clear.
Jesus Christ, that thing's real!
You know how they say, what doesn't kill you, it only makes you stronger. The understanding of that tends to settle in when wisdom begins to have her way, through you, and I say that to say this because, all scripture is given by the inspiration of God, profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instructions in righteousness. All these things that pertains to us being thoroughly, furnished, when it comes down to the will of God. And I'm going to say, ever since like last week, I've been going through a healing process, in a particular area. Prior to that, I was going through something too as well, but it all plays a part, for the glories and the manifestations of Yahweh Shemi Awashai. And sometimes in those moments, the mind can tend to wander and make you feel very, very alone. But not realizing that those be the moments where the enemy is being exposed and how he communicates with you when the Lord is trying to help you, to stay more vigilant on. It's like, hey, I know the Lord wants you to stay focused on this, but what do you think about this? What do you think about that? See, that's not right there. That's not cool right there. And that's the world's way of thinking that normally holds many of us back, from ascending because of the cares of this world, and not acknowledging that you having Yahweh Shemi Awashai is all that matters. You know what I'm saying? And it's not coming from a place of bitterness, because the scriptures encourages us, to let go of all bitterness. You know what I'm saying? To let go of all bitterness, and that's vital to one's soul. And why did I state that? Is because if you have bitterness, it'd be hard for you to lay understanding to heart when it comes down to you going into new levels. Overall, it will be hard for you or I to go through the process the way how the Lord deems for us to go through that process. And that process is of healing. So what doesn't kill us, it makes us stronger. And what makes us stronger is acknowledging that Hamashiach is not only our strong tower, but also, our waymaker when it comes down to evolving and reaching greater heights. But I say that to say this because, through my process of healing, the Lord allowed me to be in remembrance of certain things, through my processes of healing, and certain things he was allowing me to lay to heart, in the supernatural realm. And trust and believe, family, it's a lot of things are heavy. And Salakia, family, I'm still, going through that healing process. But I want brothers and sisters to lay this to heart, and really, really lay this to heart when it comes down to self-examination. And I'm going to show it to you and prove it to you too as well. You know what I'm saying? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to go to Matthew chapter 9, verse 35. He said, and Yahushua went, speaking of Jesus, went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. Right? Which is a beautiful thing. And let me jump on over here to the book of Luke, chapter 9 and verse 1. Then he called his 12 disciples together and gave them power and authority over all devils and to cure diseases. So I want you to see the authority over all devils and to cure diseases. And then you go into that verse 2. What do he state? He said, and he sent them to preach the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. To do what? To heal the sick. All right. This is not just a physical thing. This is also something that takes place supernaturally. It's being that sign of hope that removes all fears. You know what I'm saying? From the hearts, the minds of those who are in darkness. you know what I'm saying, who are drawn, you know, to Hamashiach. And I want you to see how the things that keeps them in those estates, I really want to say, are parasites. Like, I don't care who is around you. And I'm going to just get straight to the point. Everybody who is around you have parasites. I don't care who they are. They all have parasites, even yourself. Everybody have parasites. You could look this up. There are you got good parasites in your body, and you have bad parasites that be laid dormanted within the body. The good parasites that are within the body, it helps to sustain the body and to do what it has to do in order for the body to survive and to evolve. But the bad parasites, which operates out of deception, its agenda is to hijack the mind of the host. You see what I'm saying? And it starts off little by little in its approach and being connected to the host. Sometimes it can be tending to forget about things. Like, you have a moment where you're about to say something and then you're like, you know what, I just lost the train of thought. Or, you know, it is a variety of other things too as well. But those are signs, and you could look these things up. But my reasons of stating this is because when Hamashiach was given, when he said to the disciples, he said, and gave them power and authority over all devils. He's saying, like, look, man, I'm giving you power and authority over the things that the deceiver operates through. I'm giving you power and authority over these things. Like, remember, no form of a weapon shall prosper against them. You see what I'm saying? And you had parasites, and I'm speaking of the bad ones, who actually are that are hidden, and that only reveals itself when it's time to strike or to hijack the host. And I want you to see something too. All right. This is about parasites manipulating, people's minds. It said, yes, some parasites manipulate the behavior of their hosts to increase their own reproductive success and survival. So you would have one parasite that'll live a life's cycle and die off. But the information that it has, it passes that information down to the other parasite, which is only an extension of itself to carry out the mission. Because the overall mission is to hijack the mind of the host. And this is where you get, like, with most people that have spiritual oppression, you have most people going through, it's just a lot of things that deals with, out of the norm situations, that people encounter, on a day-to-day basis. Some deal with confusion, some deal with a lot of other things, and they think like, hey, if I take this medicine, then I'm gonna be fine, but not realizing that it's a parasite behind that. And this is real, family. This is real. And this parasite, if you look up these parasites, they got one particular parasite that really moves with deception and how it hides itself in the blood. It masks itself in the blood so that when the immune system gets triggered and it goes out, throughout the body to eliminate anything that does not belong, the immune system skips right over top of it. You see what I'm saying? Because that parasite is masking itself as in, like, it's a part of the body. And it's crazy. It's crazy. So it kind of gives you a deeper insight on why it's important to become spiritually minded. Because each parasite has a mind of its own. Meaning each parasite has a program. And the objective of the parasite and where it stands at in its programming is to hijack your mind, to program your mind. Yeah, to program your mind. You know, like I seen a video of this brother. He put a video up, and it was this man in New York. He was raping, this woman in broad daylight on a subway platform, and it's people around, and it's like you would think that somebody would be tuning him up or anything like that and such to try to help the woman, but they didn't. They just stood there and watched and had their phones out recording. So it shows you, like, in one instance, it's like, okay, well, what is possessing them in their mind to do what they're doing? And then at the same time, it's like the man, when he got up, he had this look like what he doing ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what possessed him in his mind to be like, it's okay to do something like that? You see what I'm saying? And these are the things that comes in place when the host, meaning the body, the mind, is taken over by a bad parasite. It's like that movie Fifth Wave. If anybody ever seen that movie, Fifth Wave, and you find out at the end it had nothing to do with what you may thought it was. It all lined up to being as parasites from another planet, hijacking mankind's minds and using mankind's bodies as tools to destroy mankind. And the list goes on. But the point is that it was all demons. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna read this here. It said, yes, some parasites manipulate the behavior of their hosts to increase their own reproductive success and survival. I know the previous video that I had, put out was dealing with generational curses, and how in depth it is with the blood. And then you gotta look at it like, well, if generational cursing is a part of the blood, one's blood, then that explains why Hamashiach had to do what he had to do on our behalf. You see what I'm saying? And it's not only just that, but there's many other things too as well, and where the blood stood at on our behalf as well from a heavenly perspective. Because the works of these demons, parasites. Like, if you can have a parasite masking itself in your DNA, in your blood, and eating all of what it can't eat without having the immune system to detect it, that's death, man. That's death. And that's why it's important to be spiritually minded. But nevertheless, this manipulation can occur through various mechanisms, including altering host neurochemistry. And neuro, that deals with the brain, how your brain processes things, instincts, and even influencing escape behaviors. The parasite's actions can lead the host to perform behaviors that will otherwise be unnatural or harmful, ultimately benefiting the parasite's life cycle. That's heavy right there. You see? You'd be surprised how many people who are actually around you who are really hijacked by parasites, man. Literally. Like, you ever watch is this animation? Well, I want to say animation. I guess, but it's like a 3D animation movie where it was this little girl, and she had, I forgot the movie's name, but it's like a Disney movie, but 3D animation, but she had different personality traits, and each personality trait will actually dictate on how she will respond to certain situations. So if a situation will come about, and it's like, oh, she would get angry. Then they had this red little dude popping up out of nowhere, snapping out, which will cause her to snap. Or if it will be somebody, if she gets sad or something comes across about her being sad, this little blue little lady looking thing will come out of nowhere and and touch like a memory or something and have her to think back on something and be feeling sad. Like, you know what I'm saying? But to me personally, when I see that, it gives you a glimpse of parasites. You see what I'm saying? Parasites. So, going further, I want y'all to see this. Here's a more detailed look at how parasites manipulate host behavior. Right? Look at this. It says mechanism of manipulation, neurochemical manipulation. Parasites can target the host's brain chemistry, affecting neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin to alter behaviors. You see? Like I spoke about the guy that had raped a woman. Like, what possessed him in his mind to do what he was doing in broad daylight? You see? That was a parasite. AKA demon, man. Demons. And you gotta see, like, a lot of people really don't lay this to heart, or as far as being something very serious. It's why people just eat what they want to eat. It's why people just do whatever they want to do, and not realizing that's what the forces of darkness want you to do. They want you to lean more onto that do what thou wilt type of mindset, that rebellious nature mindset. You see? So, out of all of these things, right, that's being shown, it's all coming from a place as in like, yo, understand that those who are around you, hey man, a lot of them are not who you may think that they are, man. Like I said before, it's like watching that movie Fifth Wave. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody will watch that movie, watch Fifth Wave. And you'll see at the end, like, how everything turned out to be. Like, real talk. Parasites, man. Demons. Real talk. And notice this. These parasites also can be passed down from generation to generation. Look this up. Real talk. A lot of parasites are passed down from generation to generation. Real talk. Let me pull this up. See? Look at this. Some parasites can be passed down from one generation to the next through vertical transmission, meaning they are inherited from a parent to their offspring. They offspring. This can happen through transplantamental transmission, mother to offspring. You see? Look all this, man. Ovarial transmission, which is through the egg, as seen in some microsporia. You see, maternally transmitted parasites include bacteria and microsporia and viruses. You see, a lot of viruses, if you look it up, they're really parasites. A lot of these stuff is parasites. They're demons. This is what Hamashiach was exposing. That's why he's saying inside in Luke chapter 9 and 1. You see what I'm saying? Luke chapter 9 and 1. See? And gave them power and authority over all devils and to cure diseases. Meaning physically it may look like this, but spiritually it's really this. You see, it may be masking itself to be like this, like it's something impossible to be taken care of, but it's not impossible. You see, all things are impossible with man, but with God, all things are possible, meaning nothing is hidden from God. So every work that is of darkness that has been done, the Lord sees all of that. So where the enemy stands at and saying no, God's saying yes. When the enemy is like there is no hope, God's saying it is hope. You see? This is why he said, and gave them power and authority over all devils. All right. So, I want to go deeper into this, but I believe I'm pretty much making things to be more solidified, as in like, hey man, we can see generational cursing, and we can also do the studies on the physical aspects on parasites or the physical aspects of what demons really are. And even if you want to look at it as in like something that you see on a movie, that's cool. But in reality, they're really damn parasites. They really parasites that's looking to hijack your body, take over your mind, alter your emotions, and use you. And after using you up, destroy you. You see? And this is the truth. And he sent them to preach the kingdom of God and to heal the sick. To heal the what? The sick. So you can see how some parasites can be passed down from one generation to the next through vertical transmission. You see? Meaning they are inherited from a parent to their offspring. Like hey man, whenever you're going through like and I'm gonna just put this out here before I even end this off. Whenever you're going through a healing process, that's a part of a warfare, a battle that you're dealing with in a spirit realm, and you're not alone with that. You know what I'm saying? But that's a battle, a warfare that you're going through in the spirit realm due to what is connected to generational cursing. Like some people don't realize, like, oh, as soon as they get it, like, yo, man, Hamashiach, he did this, he did that. Yes, he did. But you got to understand, when you coming into Christ, there is a process. There is a process. So everything that you're going through is all a part of that process. And that process is what's helping you to become stronger, wiser, better, greater. You know what I'm saying? Where you acknowledge like, yo, I can't just put any old thing in my body. I can't just involve myself into any and everything. I mean, that's logical in itself, because thinking about today, when it comes down to sin, we can't just be like, oh, I'm going to just go out there and just do this and do that. You know, God understands me. No, there's going to be consequences. Why? Because those parasites, those demons that are connected to those generational curses, right? They're laid dormanted, you know what I'm saying, within, are going to become stronger, and they're going to combat us. The only way they're able to become weaker is when you're resisting. You see? When you're resisting, and the more you're resisting, you know what I mean, the more stronger you are becoming, the more the enemy becomes weaker. So when the warfare, I mean, it's all warfare, but when it really reaches to that point, you'll be able to overcome through Hamashiach. You see? So I just wanted to bring that out, because there's much more than that, but I wanted y'all to see that for yourselves, because generational curses and all these different things, they're all tied in, man. They're all tied in. So those that have eyes to see and ears to hear, hey man, lay this message to heart. Shalom, shalom.